All right, welcome back to the UJ Chevrolet pregame show. Todd Morris with you here on the Bulldog Radio Network, and it's time to sit down with UMS-Wright head football coach Terry Curtis for our pregame interview. And Coach, we're 2-3 on the season. Second loss a couple weeks ago to Viger on the road, coming off an open week. I kind of feel like the open week came at a pretty good time. Talk about the pluses and minuses of having an open week in the middle of the season.
Well, I've never really liked an open week, but the last few years being in 5A and the size and all has really kind of worked out pretty good for us every year. And this year is no different. We needed a little time off, not just for people to heal up, but also to kind of go back to the drawing boards and kind of get kind of settled down, kind of. So it's coming a good time. We had a good open week. Went back to a lot of fundamentals, a lot of physical stuff with our players, and really stressed to them the importance of doing things the right way and being where you need to be. So hopefully now, and it's kind of like what we talked about Monday of game week again, is now you've got to take that to the game.
Right.
You can't just have a tough practices and then you kind of forget about it. You got to take it with you each and every day, not just the game. You got to take it to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the preparation it takes. And we've got to get better at that, and hopefully the off week got their attention, and they will get better with it.
You talk about healing, talk about where we are with some of our injuries. I know we were banged up in a few areas. How's everybody progressing?
Well, we had a lot of guys this past week didn't have a whole lot of contact. It looks like we've lost Bo Wills with the knee, and Jeff Holson's been banged up. Kaplan Reed, C.J. Stewart, Joe Lott. Probably a couple more that I haven't named that have been banged up with certain things. So we gave them a week to kind of refresh and get a lot of treatment and get better with those things. But, we just got to get better, Todd, with our intensity and doing the things the way they're supposed to be done.
Offensively, we're averaging 9 points a game first half of the season here, but we're also only averaging basically about the same number of first downs a game. So they go together. You got to have first downs to score points. And so what are we doing to help that? Any changes coming along?
Yeah, we're going to play with some bigger linemen and some bigger fullbacks and blocking backs, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And we are just blocking. Everybody on the team's got to be better. Our wide receivers got to be better. Our linemen have not been very good. Our fullbacks have not been very good, and therefore it's hard to run, but it's also hard to throw because of you don't have time. You're always throwing on the run, and our wide receivers have got to get better at getting separation and those sort of things. So it's just been kind of a weird kind of deal that we usually don't have to face,
right.
But. We think maybe some bigger bodies will help, and we'll see how it goes.
So at this point in the season, Gulf Shores and Viger have kind of separated themselves in the region, but there are now, 6 teams tied with 2 losses in the region, and here comes Elberta to Cooper Stadium this week. They're one of those 2 teams with 2 losses. Talk about what you see in Elberta and what we're going to need to do for tonight's game.
Well, Elberta's big. They've got some big old linemen. They're gonna sit on you and do what they do and try to run the ball. They like to show you a lot of not necessarily formations, but a lot of motions and excuse me, high motions and that sort of thing to get you to looking around. Don't have a whole lot of speed, but yet what they do a good job with it. And they're better than what they were last year, Todd. They won 2 games, I think, or 3, and we played LaFleur in a close game, and they beat LaFleur pretty good. So they've got some athletes, and in looking at the region and what you're talking about, all of them look to be much improved.
Right. Absolutely.
I went to BC Rame this past week, and you know, they've got a bunch of seniors that's been playing since ninth graders and beat Davison, a 7A school, and Central Nell has beat Faith, should have beat Viger.
Yep.
So, you know, even the teams that have not been really at the top of the region are now there, and you got to look out for them just like you do the rest of them.
But let's talk about that different subject. You were at BC Rain last Friday night for more than just to watch the game. Talk a little bit about why you were there, who was there, and everybody you got to see.
Well, it was a great night. BC Rain is where I started my career but way back in 1973, and we've done a lot of work talking to school commissioners and city councilmen and county councilman and all to try to get the new stadium at BC Rain named after Ben Glover. And that happened. And this past Friday night, we happened to be off and we play BC Rain next week. So I picked that game to go to where I could be there because, you know, Ben Glover was a big part of my start. He hired me. He was the principal at BC Rain and hired me to my first job. And so it was nice to get back down there with him and Ed Lathan and all the guys who played there and former players and guys I hadn't seen in, Lord, 60, 50 years, something like that. So it was good to see those guys. And you know, the good part of it is you go back that far, and those guys are about as old as I am.
They are, yeah.
So it was a lot of fun to see them all, and go back down there and to see Mr. Glover and with him still living and so forth. So it was just a good deal. BC Rain did a great job with it, and Coach Yelding and his staff, they put on a great show, and then won the football game too.
Yeah, that made it even better for them. Well, good deal. That was fun. I saw the pictures. It looked like everybody had a pretty good time. So, all right, Coach. Well, that'll do it for us here on the UJ Chevrolet pregame show. Thanks for joining us. We enjoy it each and every week. Good luck tonight, and let's get this ship going in the right direction. Huh?
No kidding. Let's get this thing going, and hopefully the kids will take practice to the game because they're practicing really hard and this is a big week for us.
Big week. Yep, definitely. All right, Bulldogs start the second half of the season here at Cooper Stadium tonight against the 2-3 Elberta Warriors. We'll be back with more of the UJ Chevrolet pregame show in just a minute, right here on the Bulldog Radio Network, Sports Talk 99.5 Mobile, an iHeart radio station.